What is up? Run Pure Sports. Let's talk some baseball. Look what we got today. We got Steve Boynton, Holden here, and of course, there is a man. There's two people I know that just are never wrong, and they'll never admit it. My ex-wife and DC, and they're both annoying as shit. But damn, did you hit it yesterday, DC? Alek Manoah going to the Fat Farm in Florida. He's going to sweat out the lard. He got absolutely rocked. Nice call yesterday, dude.
Yeah, 2 for 2 on the on-air demotion calls. I called the last ride for Madison Bumgarner and Alek Manoah yesterday. So yeah, we'll see when the next one comes around. You got to be patient, right? Because you don't want to ruin that perfect record. And by the way, Holden, I feel like you say I'm never wrong. I feel like I'm a guy who does take his L's pretty well in general. Now, granted, there's a lot of them to take, so a lot of opportunities. But I feel like I'm
DC. It had nothing to do with you and everything about taking a shot at my ex. Boynton, what's going on, dude? It's good to see you.
That's Boynton. What it was about.
We got to talk about DeGrom. We got to talk about Aaron Judge and Elly De La Cruz. But talk to me about this slate here. We got a dozen games today, right? A lot of options.
Yeah,
today's slate.
Yeah, just got done with the playbook over on the site, going through all the pitching options, all of our stacks. It's a great place to start. Yeah, it's a huge 12-game slate. Lots of pitching options. I was able to dial mine down to about a half dozen. Wasn't super easy. And then, it's starting to really warm up, especially on the East Coast. So, we talked about it a bit on a Friday show, but the difference in the weather between these East Coast games and the West Coast games is, that chasm is starting to get wider and wider. So
it's been wild out here in Colorado too, like perfect weather. I'm sure we'll get some rain tonight. DC, I'm just nothing really concerning. We got a little wind blowing out with the Yankees game and the Pirates game. The Reds is probably going to be a game we spend a little bit of time on. It's warm with the wind blowing out in Atlanta. So nothing too bad that I'm seeing. It's looking like we got some hitter friendly weather today.
Yeah. Warming up, summer coming around, like Steve said. It kind of feels like true baseball season to me when we get like the 80, 90-degree days on the East Coast with all those good hitters parks, and then we get the West Coast games where typically we go to pitching, right? Because it kind of stays cool out in California, Seattle, all that for most of the year. So, yeah, I think we're going to see some offense today for sure. A lot of good pitching options as well. I think a really, really fun 12-gamer tonight, honestly, with a lot of different ways to go, as is typically the case on a big slate. But it does look like a especially tasty one tonight.
Yep, no question about it. Let's get into a couple things here. DC, I'll say this. When Jacob deGrom was signed by the Rangers, it reminded me of a tournament play in DFS. The only difference is it was like hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're not losing that play in DFS. So this is just absolutely fascinating here that he's already done for the season. This team – and I'm going to tell you, man, this offense is as good as it gets. They do have some pitching. Their bullpen, we'll see if they get a couple arms back there. But this is a huge blow. This was a team with DeGrom could have won the World Series. And I think the Mets, who have had decades of dysfunction with the Wilpon, Steve Cohen got this right, man. You're not signing a guy that's breaking down, and that's what's happening right now. Although he did sign Max Scherzer, who kind of has his own issues.
And Verlander, who
the DeGrom thing, listen, things happen. He's out.
They have their own issues.
Yeah, the interesting thing with DeGrom, so he's obviously been dealing with, arm, elbow injuries for years now. And I think it was back in 2020 or 2021, like he had a UCL like sprain or like he was basically pitching through it seemed like. And then, he pitched through for a while, looked like the best pitcher. He's still the best pitcher in the world whenever he gets to take the mound, and you would like make a few starts, go on the IL for a long time, kind of repeat that process. So this surgery, Tommy John surgery that he's going to have, it almost seemed somewhat inevitable, honestly. And I'm wondering if when he does come back from this, it'll be a year or even longer from today's date. Maybe we get like another couple dominant, healthy DeGrom seasons. It honestly wouldn't shock me. We do see pitchers come back from Tommy John and kind of return to their dominant self. I mean, we saw it from Justin Verlander, right? Not so long ago. Yeah. So hopefully he can get healthy. And I mean, he's so fun to watch pitch. Honestly, though, it's easy to make the jokes with DeGrom, but for me, it's hard to criticize someone that got to the absolute, like, very pinnacle of their sport, their profession for a couple seasons. And, it sucks that he's hurt. Obviously not a Mets fan, but yeah, I hope we see him back healthy sooner rather than later.
I'd say you throw him in there with Pedro Martinez, probably the two best 4-year spans that I've ever seen in pitchers. And he's probably not going to Hall of Fame. He'll come back. He's 35, DC. He's not going to, he's not Verlander too. I just want to say that.
I bet DeGrom will make the Hall of Fame.
You think so? You think he'll come back and give it another couple of years?
His peak was so high. I think the Hall of Fame should be more about peak than longevity, just in my personal opinion.
I'm with you there.
So you love Don Sutton in the Hall of Fame?
Nah, he's too old. I don't care what his old is.
Better than Don Mattingly being in Holden, that's for sure.
Okay. Yes, Trevor Bryan, thanks for reminding me. The like button would be great. We would love that. Spectacular stuff. Steve, you got any stuff on DeGrom here? But again, Tim Lincecum, back-to-back Cy Youngs, just didn't do it for quite long enough. I loved to see him in the Hall of Fame. But, as far as DeGrom goes, Steve, you think he gets in?
I think he should.
Okay.
Like DC said, he's going to come back and have another 2 years on his Rangers deal. They've already announced that they're going to hold him out till 2025. They're just not going to mess with next season.
He'll be 36. He'll be 36 when he comes back.
Yeah. But yeah, like DC said, we just saw Verlander do basically the same thing, and he's pitching in his age 40, 41 season, something like that. He's clearly got the arm talent. It sucks just because this is the best Rangers team since that 2011 team that went to the World Series for sure. And they've been doing it mostly without him, with a guy who's on the slate tonight kind of filling in for him. But yeah, it's a huge blow for them. I feel bad for Rangers fans, and it's been a long 10 years for them. But it's just a bummer. I'm not the guy who's gonna laugh on Twitter about guys getting hurt.
But that Rangers offense, by the way, we talked about it yesterday on the show. Man, there's been a lot of surprises this year. I think, not shockingly, to see with all the new rules changes, I felt like there was more kind of variance coming into this season than ever before for a baseball season. But I did not see the Rangers. I thought they'd be good. I did not see best offense in baseball type of outcome for this Rangers offense. So it is kind of a bummer for them that everything kind of fell right for them in terms of all their hitters, and then they lose their ace because, man, you're right, Holden, a healthy DeGrom on that team, and you got a World Series frontrunner. I bet with an offense performing the way that they are, I bet they'll make a big trade at the deadline and try to get an ace back on the team because the staff is currently constructed. They just don't have enough pitching, right?
Well, yeah. It is interesting because, so the DeGrom signing hasn't worked out so far, but basically every other free agent signing they've had the last 2 years has been a home run. Seager, Semien, Eovaldi, John Gray, Andrew Haney, all playing out of their minds. So,
Shark Killer. DeGrom's done. It's good he has to be put down. He's 34. So here's the deal. Tim Lincecum, this, again, we bring it up. The guy – I just don't know if he has the innings, but I'll say it again. It's over a 4-year span. I haven't seen anything like it besides for Pedro. And I know one of our guys in the chat was saying Johan Santana. That's a pretty good one too. But the guy's just a masterpiece. 35 into a year 36. I'm not so sure, guys, that he's going to have, what it takes to get him in there, but we'll see. No doubt about it. For sure. And there's Stevers. He'll be fresh. Shane Bieber's going to be moved soon, I guess. Maybe so. The other thing I want to bring up before we get into the slate would be Ellie De La Cruz. Boynton, this is a dude that had a 1,000 plus OPS. I think he was in the 900 range a couple years before that. He's one of the elite prospects in the game. He's $2,000 tonight. How popular is this guy?
Yeah, so he's shortstop only on DraftKings, flat 2K min, switch hitting. I think they're going to play him at third base. At least tonight. Yeah, he's a great play. It's interesting because he's at a pretty premier position. But on this specific slate, if he were on last night's slate with, Seager and Pena and Bichette and all these guys in awesome spots, I think he'd be lower owned. But the context of this slate, I feel like the top shortstops aren't in as good of spots. Bichette's going up against Hunter Brown, Pena's against Gaussman, stuff like that. So, I think he'll be pretty owned, and he deserves to be. He's hitting cleanup for 2K as a top prospect in baseball, a guy who just crushed in the minor leagues. So, have no issue with it.
Yeah, DC, how much ownership are you going to have of Elly De La Cruz tonight?
Yeah, quite a bit. He looks like the true real deal to me. Now, he's going to probably have some struggles. He's 21 years old. A lot of these prospects that come up, and, like even Mike Trout sucked for his first 150 at-bats in his first stint in the big leagues. But De La Cruz, just give you give the people a taste of his talent, did lead all of minor league baseball in max exit velocity. I think he hit a ball 118.7. He's a 90 to 99th percentile sprint speed guy. He led all of minor league baseball in average exit velocity. This guy has big boy power, speed. Steve, you tweeted about him coming up. I said I think he's going to have the physical tools of O'Neal Cruz, obviously Pirate shortstop who's now on the IL. But I think Elly De La Cruz is going to be actually better at baseball, right? Honestly, even watching O'Neal Cruz, it kind of seemed to me I watched a lot of him early this season. It kind of seemed like he's doesn't enjoy himself out there. You just never see him smiling or just enjoying the game. From what I've seen of Elly De La Cruz, he's going to be the opposite of that. I think he's the most exciting young prospect we'll see this year from the hitting side, and he's not.
We have to be careful because they're both named Cruz.
What's that?
We have to be careful because they're both named Cruz.
No, I know. Yeah, Elly De La Cruz, I think is going to be awesome. It's no guarantee for today. We saw. Remember Tatis's first game? He was priced at 2K. Yeah. He did nothing. Of course, it's baseball. Anybody can have an 0-for-4 day, but switch hitter. This guy's going to be, I think, a staple and an awesome fantasy staple for a long time to come. So he's one. And I'll be taking advantage of this price till it gets up to the 4 or 5K range, which is where he'll be before long.
Yes.
All right, gentleman.
Guy.
Yeah. All right, keep jumping in, Steve. What do you got? Steve? Better be important.
I was just going to say he's a power speed guy too. He's, Cruz didn't swipe that many bags. De La Cruz has got 11 in 38 games in AAA. So, huge floor here.
All right, that was important enough. Let's hit the like button. That'd be good. Be really good. Good mojo today. And then as you see just below me, not just DC, 33% off weekly or monthly packages right now. Promo code SUMMER33. SUMMER33, 33% off. That's for weekly and monthly subscriptions. First payment, 33% off. You're getting all of our content here. NFL, 93 days away. Who's counting? So you might as well get in right now, lock the price in. By the time NFL's here, you got a better price than a lot of people. Let's get going, though, down this slate. Again, guys, 12 games that we're looking at today, and we'll start up at the top. Gausman, yes or no, DC? Gausman will fare better than Alek Manoah tonight.
I think that one's pretty safe yes for Gausman, considering what Manoah end up with, -12 or something like that.
Yeah,
got one out. Good job, Alec. Gausman, I think, is pretty interesting here, though. I don't think people are really going to want to play him against the Astros, especially after last night with the Astros doing that damage. But Gausman is one of those guys, I'm not sure the matchup matters that much for him in terms of his upside. When he's on his game, he just nobody can hit him. He just gets the whiffs on that splitter. Nobody can see it coming. Even guys like Alvarez and Tucker, I wouldn't be surprised to see those guys go down swinging against that particular pitch. I don't Gausman's such a unique pitcher. I think of all the aces, I would make the case that he's kind of the one that's most unique, right? He's really a two-pitch guy. You don't see many aces that only throw two pitches, those 50% splitters. It almost seems to me seems like you wouldn't be able to survive doing that. It seems like the hitters would eventually be able to just guess, right? Because it's 50-50 which pitch is coming, but he does it every start or almost every start. And so I do think Gausman is an awesome option. I do have him very, very slightly below Mitch Keller, who I assume will be the chalk. I haven't looked up ownership. I think he should be. Keller's been awesome all year. I was honestly a little bit slow to come around to him. I didn't really see this huge breakout coming from Mitch Keller, but I'm all the way bought in at this point on Mitch Keller. Pitches deep into games. He throws a ton of strikes, just absolutely pounds the strike zone, which gives him, I think, a nice floor, and especially against a team like the A's, who just, you're not really scared of the lineup. And Keller doesn't beat himself, right? He's going to throw strikes. So I think his floor ceiling combination is really, really high here. Based on kind of the A's lack of plate discipline, this looks like a potential, complete game type of performance from Keller, and the Pirates will let him go if he's pitching well. So I really do like Mitch Keller here. And then old friend Clark Schmidt, a guy I was on early in the season to my detriment, certainly. And anyone that followed me on the Clark Schmidt train in April, it did not go well, had like 3 or 4 bad starts in a row. But it just was like a month too early on Clark Schmidt. His stuff is really good. It was always good. I think it just kind of took him a little while to adjust to being a big league starter, and he's been pretty damn solid for these last 2, 3, 4 starts. The stuff keeps improving, and I'm not scared of this White Sox lineup, man. If you look at Clark Schmidt's splits, he has been pretty damn dominant against right-handed hitters. The White Sox don't really have any lefties to fear. I mean, Benintendi, Moncada, Gavin Sheets, I'm not scared of those guys. I think Clark Schmidt's got a good chance to really mow through this White Sox lineup, which has been frankly underperforming pretty much all year. So those are my top 3, Keller, Schmidt, and Gausman, and kind of a decent drop-off after that for me, honestly.
All right, we'll run through the rest of the pitching with you here in just a minute, DC. Want to get Boynton's thoughts, though. Again, Gausman, 2.38 FIP, 75 innings of work. Guys struck out 100 already. He's coming off, an 11 strikeout game. So how much Gausman do you have tonight, Boynton, if any?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting spot, right? Everyone saw Houston smash last night. They've been hot lately. I kind of echo what DC was saying. I don't think matchup really matters for Gausman. It's whether the splitter's working or not. I think he's an awesome play. I think he's going to come in lower on than he should be here. 100 plus pitches in 4 straight starts, so the duration is locked in there. Like you said, lowest X FIP on the slate, 2.73, 33% K rate is only behind Paxton on the slate. He's been really, really good at home, dominant at home actually. In 36 innings, he's only given up 27 hits, 49 strikeouts, 1.7 ERA. I think he's a good play, and I think that he'll be lower than he should be. Like I said, I wonder, like, him versus Keller, what the ownership is going to be. I think Keller comes in higher owned. Let me see what we've got here right now.
He's got to be higher.
Yeah. I kind of prefer Gausman if Gausman's going to be lower owned than Keller. I just trust him so much if he's on. So I do like both guys. I've got a bunch of Keller too. He gets the home start against Oakland, coming off a couple not rough, but average outings on the road. Now he's back at home. He has also been awesome at home. 2.18 ERA, only 22 hits in 33 innings. xFIP of 2.99 is elite. We've kind of been waiting on this for Mitch Keller for a couple of seasons now. It's good to see him finally kind of figure it out and take that step to be an ace. Oakland dead last in baseball in both weighted runs created plus and ISO against right-handed pitching. Second in strikeout rate. So yeah, as clean of a matchup as you can get for Keller. The guy that I don't think anyone's going to play, who I played last time through, was Logan Gilbert. He had the home start against the Yankees when their lineup was pretty depleted. Had like a rough first inning, didn't really have his stuff, but had been really good before then. And his underlying metrics are really good. They're up there almost with Keller and Gausman on the slate. I think he comes in low owned again. If you remember that Seattle series, basically everyone played George Kirby the day after. No one played Gilbert, and of course Kirby goes for like 40. But yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting spot for Gilbert. His strikeout rate is just below the top guys on the slate. The expected ERA is over a run lower than his ERA, mainly due to his low strand rate. That'll normalize throughout the season. And, I think it's the best pitching weather on the slate. San Diego in the high 50s, low 60s. I really like both pitchers in that game. The Padres have been pretty shitty against righties all season, 25th in weighted runs created plus, 27th in ISO. So a worse lineup than they probably look on paper, especially against righties. And I just kind of like Gilbert here just because I think he gets lost between the two tiers of pitching a bit, DC, because you got the Gausman, Keller at 11, and then I think we have some options around 8K, but I think he kind of gets lost in the sauce on the slate, and I do believe in Gilbert as an arm, so I'm going to have him up top.
All right, so DC, you talked about the top shelf guys. Let's move down a little bit, and I just wonder the cheapest pitcher that's in your pool today. Where is it? And maybe we can go up from there. Who's the cheapest pitcher in your pool?
From what I've seen in Discord, it might be a better question for Steve, who maybe is going all the way down to the bottom.
Steve? Hold on, let's ask him. Steve, are you going all the way down to the bottom?
No, not for DFS. I did bet Lamet's strikeout prop, though. I think I'd rather bet his strikeout props than use him in daily fantasy.
You just stop it already.
He gave up 6 ground ball singles in the first inning. Ground balls through the hole.
We should have gotten away with that one, Steve. He actually pitched pretty well. Didn't work out DFS-wise. Scored 0.6 fantasy points, but I thought he actually looked pretty good. But I'm not doing it in Colorado tonight down at 5,100. Honestly, I'm not really. What's that?
Bet the strikeout.
Sean Manaea is the bottom, by the way. You're right. You're right, Brock. He is.
I'm not doing that
now.
No.
Yeah, DC.
I'm actually not spending down much, honestly, if at all, at pitcher today. This is often the case on big slates where there are aces on the hill and you get just more cheaper options, right? Like I want to play Ellie De La Cruz. So right there, you got a 2K player, which allows you to spend up on pitching. I really don't see much down there that's frankly at all interesting. So to answer your question, cheapest pitcher is Mr. Clark Schmidt. I'm not going any lower than the, 7,900, I believe. Okay. Musgrove, actually. Musgrove would be the cheapest. So he's $100 cheaper. I do prefer Schmidt over Musgrove, honestly, but yeah, in that $7,800, $7,900 range is the cheapest I would go. I'm looking at ownership, at least over at our friends SaberSim, Steve. They've got Gausman as twice as owned as Keller, which is
that would surprise me for sure.
I don't think that's actually going to end up being true, but they're usually not too far off. So yeah, that has me even leaning more Keller than Gausman. Did want to mention that. Couple sneakier plays that I think will be pretty low owned. Lucas Giolito. I'm not the biggest Giolito guy. I don't really play him very often, but I do think this is kind of a sneaky good matchup against the Yankees, who are without Aaron Judge tonight. Like, this is a pretty weak lineup. I mean, you get past Rizzo at the top, and it's Donaldson, Volpe, Calhoun, Kiner, Falefa, Trevino, Jacob Bowers. I mean, even the top three guys, Torres, Stanton, Rizzo, like, that's not the scariest matchup for Lucas Giolito. So, I don't know. He never comes through for me when I do.
I kind of like the Yankees here. We'll talk about it later.
That wouldn't honestly shock me, but I think Giolito will be super, super low owned. So I think he's interesting. I like the Gilbert call, and I don't hate Hunter Brown here. If you want to go really off the board, nobody is going to play him on the road against the Blue Jays, but he's dominant against right-handed bats. And the Blue Jays, I think they only have 3 lefties, none of whom have been that great this season: Belt, Varsho, Kiermaier. So I think Hunter Brown does have a chance to deliver a great game at, I assume probably sub 5% ownership for Hunter Brown for a guy who I think is a pretty legit ace. So I think he's interesting as well. But a tight pitching pool for me, for sure. I think, that Keller, Gausman, Clark Schmidt trio, if you just want to live there tonight, I think you'll be pretty well off, honestly.
All right. Steve, let's go. Rest of the pitching pool, my friend.
Yeah, so below Gilbert, guy that we haven't talked about at all, James Paxton, sitting at 8.6. He surprised me last time out. We were talking about stacking against him. I think it was the Reds game. Came back out with the high velo. Looked good. He's sitting at 8.6. You don't love the strikeout matchup with Cleveland, but their bats have just been so bad all season, just kind of a punchless offense. And it's pretty chilly there. We've talked about it being warm for most of these spots. Cleveland is going to be in the low mid 60s with the wind blowing in. So Paxton's issue, fly balls, maybe that'll help him out. Does have the high, smaller sample, but has the highest strikeout rate on the slate. Maybe that will mitigate the contact bats a bit there. Because of the durability concerns and just like the overall concerns that I know both of us have on him, I don't think he's a single entry type of play or anything, but I'm playing 20 lineups and I will have some Paxton here. I think he comes in pretty low owned. And then, I'm with you on Clark Schmidt. I played him last time out. I watched that start. He looked really good. Kind of went toe to toe with Kirby in that game. I like the stuff. I was going to say the same thing about the right-handers that the White Sox have, so I won't say that again. But he's due some regression as well. 5.1 ERA, 3.78 xFIP. So should continue to regress to the mean there. And then I also have Musgrove actually in my core tonight. I'm playing Schmidt and Musgrove on my main team. He had like a murderer's row of opponents like right out of the gate after missing the first month and a half or so of the season. Basically starts out with at Arizona, the Dodgers, at the Dodgers, and then the Red Sox. So now he gets Seattle, who we talk about, especially against right-handed pitching. They strike out a ton. I think their 5th highest strikeout rate in the split on the season. Bottom 10 offense against righties. I have confidence that Musgrove is going to go deep in this game. When he's on, they'll let him go 6-7 innings. And the issues with him since he's came back is the strikeout ceiling. So I think the duration is locked in, and I like the matchup for strikeouts here. So we might get the combination of both of those. So I do like Musgrove. So that's my pitching pool here. I've got Gossman, Keller, Gilbert, Paxton, Schmidt, and Joe Musgrove.
All right. Very good. We do have a couple of comments here I want to throw at you. I don't know if Roth Window Services is trolling anybody. The Yankees are very scary. Shh, what are you talking about? DC, you just said they're not scary. There's no Aaron Judge. So it's as simple as that. And the other one was about Kaprelian. So Eric, Kaprelian's had the toughest schedule possible. Any retort to that, DC?
Actually, yeah. When I was digging in, kind of going through all the games, when I'm looking at Kaprelian, I still like the Pirates, but after digging into Kaprelian's schedule, the numbers against Kaprelian, I thought they're a little bit inflated, right? Because he's like I was looking at his numbers against lefties. He's been crushed by lefties, like literally the worst numbers of any starting pitcher in the league. But he's faced like the Astros twice, where their only lefties are Jordan and Tucker, right? And then I think he faced the Angels, who really only have Shohei swinging from the left side. Just like really, really brutal schedule, especially from the left-hand side. So I still do like the Pirates, but that did cool me off on them a little bit. Good point here. By the way, I got new tools. I'm signed in today.
Oh no!
Right,
I can't take them off the screen anymore. Shit.
So I'm putting up chat.
Oh,
so
who did
had
this?
that crazy game in Mexico. ERA got inflated.
That's right.
That's a really good point, because if you
that was the Giants one, right?
Yeah, where they're playing at it was 9,000 feet or something crazy. Musgrove's stats are way worse, even his underlying metrics, right? They all look worse because of that one start. I do think Musgrove is coming around, right? He's a borderline ace, Steve. I think I wouldn't put him in the top tier, but the second tier of SPs in the league. He's not priced like it in a pretty good matchup, so I do like that Musgrove call.
He was last year. He was one of the
best. I think he'll get back to that, though. I really do.
I think the larger point is he's not a 7,800 arm, right?
No.
He's a 9K guy.
So what you guys are saying, we'll get to the Pittsburgh game here pretty quick. It's the third one on the slate, but beware a little bit of the Pirates. Because Steve, I don't think you're there. I don't think you're beware of the Pirates tonight.
No, I like the Pirates here, especially the lefties. But yeah, we'll get to the bats.
All right, let's go. We got Summer 33, 33% off your subscription. It's not only the monthly plan, it's the weekly plan. First payment, 33% off. Summer 33, right? You get our Discord where you can talk with Steve's in there like literally all day. I've never met anyone as lonely as Steve. All he wants to do is talk with the people in the Discord. DC's in there doing whatever the hell DC is doing. You've got the optimizer. We throw SaberSim in there for this 33% off. So our optimizer is pretty damn good as well. You know, all the sports we take care of. So hop on in. Let's do it. Summer 33. Let's do this little slate here offensively. Before we get into this, I do want to ask you guys your two favorite offenses before we start this. DC, who are your two favorite offenses tonight?
Two favorite offenses.
Yeah.
I got the Braves. No surprise there for me, and the Dodgers. But
okay,
my list certainly doesn't end there. There's a lot of places to go.
Braves and Doyers. What about you, Steve? Two favorite offenses tonight?
I think the Braves and the Dodgers top the charts too. I do like Pittsburgh. I think Arizona's in a good spot in DC. And then I'll talk about the Yankees too.
I think Arizona's in a spectacular spot, but that's our second game we'll get to. This is the first one. White Sox, Yankees. I mean, DC even made a case for Giolito tonight against New York. I don't know if there's a one-off there. Do we really want to go against Clark Schmidt too? Any plays here in the White Sox and the Yankees?
Nah, if these White Sox pummel Clark Schmidt, it's going to be a rough night for your boy DC over here. So no White Sox for me. I think Steve's maybe going to make a case for the Yankees, so I'll leave that to him. I actually like Giolito a little bit, so maybe that's one thing. Sounds like we're mostly aligned, but maybe that's one thing that we're a little bit on different sides about. But no hitters in this game for me, honestly.
All right, what do you got, Steve? Game number one, Yankees hosting the White Sox.
Yeah, so Yanks come home after a long West Coast road trip. I just think they play well in this series. I think the White Sox come back down to earth a bit starting here. Giolito, like extreme fly ball guy, 30% ground ball rate. There's no Judge, but with the pitching up top that we like, the lineup is really cheap now. So, this is more of a pricing play. The White Sox bullpen has been really bad. And yeah, I mean, the lineup is super cheap. You can double spend a pitcher with this Yankees team in Yankee Stadium against an extreme fly ball pitcher. So that's more of the play than like I think that they're going to smash. It's a price play in a good park. The wind's blowing out to right field against a pitcher that gives up a shitload of fly balls. So I think that they work better as a mini stack. You can save some money with a couple of these guys and be playing with the Dodgers or with the Braves or something. They are my last team of my five that I'm stacking up here.
All right, let's get on to our second game. Like button would be great, guys and girls. Let's do that. Hammer that. Get that out of the way. Arizona, Washington. So, again, Washington hits left-handers pretty well. The problem is DFS-wise, I always have a hard time complete stacking them, five-man stack, even a four-man. They just don't hit enough bombs. Then on the other side, Steve, you had mentioned this. Irvin's going to the mound for Washington tonight, but a right-hander. What do you got here, DC? Because it does seem like Arizona's in a good spot. If you're playing Arizona, who are the bats you like?
Yeah, baby snakes. They look pretty good tonight. I mentioned yesterday on the show, I know you weren't there either, you two, but I almost stepped on a rattlesnake on my trail run.
No shit.
Yeah, and I was disappointed. The Diamondbacks weren't on the slate yesterday because it seemed like a sign. So I got to get in on some Diamondbacks tonight. Rattlesnake trying to sell me something.
Serious question. So you're running.
Yeah.
And this rattlesnake is where? Just right around you? And did you soil yourself? What happens when you see
slithered across the path, like right before I stepped down?
Man.
Like I probably came, I don't know, less than a foot from
Look at that, Boynton. We almost got rid of him. Just like that, but it didn't happen. He survived. He didn't get bit. All right, so what do we want to do with these snakes tonight?
Let me say this. I track my heart rate while I'm running on my watch, and I could actually look up my heart rate. I looked it up, and it spiked like 25 beats.
No
just from the snake.
Is that what happens when you shit yourself?
It stayed there for like 5 minutes. I was scared for sure.
Your heart. Yeah. Hey, can you do that, DC? Just next time you're taking a dump, tell us your heart rate, and I want to compare it to you seeing
it goes up by 25.
real low at that point. No, but awesome spot for the Diamondbacks. Jake Irvin not any good, gets crushed by lefties, and I feel like the Diamondbacks don't get that many good spots. Like their home park's not great for hitting. Outside of going to Coors Field, like this is a 80 degrees with some humidity in Washington, D.C. Pretty awesome spot for the for the Diamondbacks, rather. And I mention this all the time, but no lefties in the bullpen still somehow for the Nationals. So guys like Pavin Smith, who you might think would get pinch hit for, not really at risk here. Corbin Carroll gets righties all game long. He's obviously the premier play here. But, yeah, the Diamondbacks look great. I think the Nationals are a little bit sneaky too against Tommy Henry, who really, I think, just totally sucks. Joey Meneses, I think, is going to get real hot. You remember the run that he had last year? It's been kind of slow going for him, but as the weather heats up, this is more of like a kind of like a gut call, I guess. But I think Meneses is going to start hitting some home runs, and I think he might have a big June. Just kind of a gut call for me there. But, yeah, Meneses is a guy that I do like. He's the main guy. Lane Thomas, I think, is an okay play. But, yeah, I could see fireworks here for sure between the Nationals and Diamondbacks.
All right, what do you got, Nats and D-backs, Steve?
Yeah, good spot. We're going to be targeting bats in Washington more as the season goes on. Sorry, I do like the D-backs here. Irvin, lowest swing strike rate on the slate, 5%. Just living by hard contact. It could be one of those nights where there's fine gloves. That does happen, but over the course of the season, we're going to be continuing to stack against Irvin, and this Nats bullpen. DC just got crushed by the Phillies over the weekend. I faded the Phillies for most of the weekend. It went fine for the most part, the starters, and then the bullpen just coughed it up game after game. So we could, if you don't score in the first couple innings against the Nats, you're not dead. So I love the note about the left-handed relievers, especially against a young team like this that does have the interchangeable parts. And they do pinch hit some with those lefties. So having the, that be less of a factor is huge, especially for a team like the D-backs.
What does the major league team not have a single lefty in the pen, by the way? It just is mind-boggling to me, honestly.
So their manager has said that he's fine with the righties that they have facing lefties. And then they just go out and just give up bomb after bomb to the Phillies.
Is that are you talking about the Nats?
Yeah.
They
that's Mike Rizzo.
In the pen for the entire season.
No, Mike Rizzo has always said that. He says, you know what? Who cares if it's righty or lefty? If the right-hander can get the left-hander out, we'll just roll with it. That's an organizational philosophy.
Did he fail math in third grade?
Not working right now.
That's true if you have guys that can get lefties out, but they don't.
Oh,
the World Series teams had guys who could get lefties out.
Yeah. All right. Let's do a little like button here. We can go backwards. P. Lally wants to know, why don't you like Elder? Did I miss it or nah?
I have been off of the Elder train all year. He has shoved it right down my throat pretty much every start, but I'm not moving. I'm staying right here. I'm staying right here on the Bryce Elder fade train. I will have a Mets stack or two. I don't believe in Bryce Elder, and maybe he'll keep taking my money, but I don't believe it.
All right, Oakland, Pittsburgh. Steve, you're a better too. Last time Pittsburgh was a minus 250 or greater favorite. Take a guess what year it was. It wasn't in the 70s. No.
Minus 250 or more?
Yeah.
I can't even think of when that would be.
2015 when Francisco Liriano was starting. That's how long it's been. 8 years since they've been minus 250 favorites. That tells you more about the A's than anything else, my friend. DC, let's get into this here because it'll be a good debate. You're going to start. You don't like them as much. Boynton does like them a little bit. So what's wrong with the Pirates tonight? And are there any A's in the mix?
No, I'm in on the Pirates.
Okay.
I didn't mean to, someone in the chat brought up the Caprillion schedule. which I think was a good point to bring up, but he's still not a good pitcher. He just maybe not quite as bad as the underlying metrics would suggest. But yeah, I'm in on the Pirates here. Jack Sawinski in particular, if you need a value outfielder, I think is an awesome play. He actually leads all of MLB in, we're going to get nerdy here, expected WOBA on contact. Basically, hitting the ball as hard as anybody against right-handed pitchers. Caprillion gives up the highest average launch angle to lefties so far this year of any starting pitcher in baseball, which is exactly what you want with Sawinski. You're chasing home runs. Yeah, we're getting nerdy here.
This is blowing my mind right now.
Right. Yeah,
I thought I had the note of all notes, but you've just
we're going deep in the weeds on Tuesday afternoon. But yeah, I love Sawinski. Brian Reynolds, I think, is in a terrific spot. Marcano at the top of the lineup, 2.1K. If you want a direct pivot from Ellie De La Cruz, there you go. Another 2K shortstop, essentially. So, yeah, I'm in on the Pirates here. No A's for me against Mitch Keller.
How about my boy Josh Palacios tonight? Steve Boynton.
Is that the ex? Was he with
Blue
Cleveland?
Jay. Wasn't he with the Blue Jays?
That's right.
I thought he was a Blue Jay.
Yeah, I like the Pirates a good bit here. No, he's with the Nats. Blue Jays, Nats, Pirates. Okay. Yeah, I think the Pirates lineup is good. It sucks that Ji-Hwan Bae isn't in there, but that's fine. Marcano, I think, is a really interesting tournament play, especially if you're playing Pirates mini stacks. I agree with DC about the lefties. The reason that Caprillion has never, because he was a top prospect, years ago, that there's a reason that he never became that is because he could never get a left-handed hitter out. So yeah, we got nice weather in Pittsburgh. I really like Sawinski, like Reynolds, like Marcano. I'm full stacking this team, even if they don't get to Caprillion, kind of like the Nats, the A's have a terrible bullpen. So, don't worry if they go 1, 2, 3 in the first. There'll be plenty of opportunities to score off this team. And I think the Pirates are back in first place. They had that lull in mid-May where they couldn't buy a win, and they've kind of righted the ship, so to speak, since then. So I like the Pirates here.
All right. Well, since the DC did the whole snake thing and he was going to play, my son is at pirate camp. So actually, DC, I won't let you near my kid, but both of you like pirates. It's great. You love dancing with pirates. He loves acting like a pirate. It's wonderful. All right, good talk by me. Let's move on. Next game. Yeah, leave it to DC. Yeah, it's a great story. That's the second time you said that to me in a week. And you know what? I deserve both of them. The next one, Houston, Toronto. Boynton, I'm going to you first since you made fun of me and I liked it. Gosman, Hunter Brown. Is there really any reason to go here?
I game stacked this game on my main team yesterday. I'm not going to have any bats here today. Definitely respect Gosman. Think he's the AL Cy Young guy right now. And like DC said, Hunter Brown and Ace in the making. We'll have plenty of opportunities to play both the Blue Jays and the Astros, just not today.
That's why I went to him first, DC, because I knew we weren't going to do anything from this game. So anything here?
Not really. I think if you just want to truly one-off Alvarez or Tucker, I don't think that's a horrible option. Gausman does still give up home runs, especially to lefties. Hangs a splitter and it's out of there. But other than that, not really.
That's offensive, Steve Boynton. I'm blaming you for that one. You cannot promote that stuff. Okay, we're in a very special month right now. Just relax. What are you talking about? Oh, did he bring up my family? I didn't know that. Let's move on, and we will. It's just DC radio bullshit.
Well, you haven't bragged about having a girlfriend in a while. I feel like that for a while that was like
she's really sick, so I'm trying to stay away from her and not even think about her. Just put her in the room. I leave her some water and some cat food, and then that's it. And I just leave.
You white fruit and put her in the freezer and see what happens.
Put her in a freezer?
Yeah.
All right. That sounds good to me. Boston, Cleveland, the Beebs against James Paxton. Everybody I know is on Paxton under 5.5K, so you can tell me why here. But because the Guardians don't strike out much, right? Any Boston, Cleveland, DC?
Nah. 12, 15 mile per hour winds blowing in Cleveland makes a really tough home run park. Paxton looked awesome last start. I'm waiting for a chance to unload the clip on Shane Bieber. And if this was in Fenway, hot night in Boston, I would absolutely be doing it on the Red Sox. Just don't think this is quite the spot tonight. So I'll wait for another day. But I'm not a believer in Bieber. I do think his doom is coming. I think he survives and does enough today where the Red Sox don't get to the winner's circle. But not playing any Bieber. I think he's the worst high price pitcher. Paxton, Steve talked about him. I do think he's an interesting play. And then I'm not going to bats in this weather.
You getting the hail up there, DC? I get hail every goddamn day here in south of Denver. No,
not right now. Yeah, it's been crazy weather for the last month here.
It's nuts. We finally had the sun for the first time in like a month today, and now it's just going bananas outside. Anything here, Boynton?
We actually have the smoke from Canada here now in Chicago. That's why I don't have the sun coming through. It's awful. But no bats here. I'm playing some Paxton. Agree with DC on finding a spot to fade Bieber. I just don't think it's here.
All right, here we go. Look down, not at DC. Look at the promo code SUMMER33. 33% off your first payment of a weekly or monthly plan. Try it out for a week. Go for it. SaberSim. You get SaberSim or Optimizer. Got all the sports going on right now. You see our baseball team, spectacular. Golf team still crushing it. Susie and the tennis team just mauling Roland Garros. That would be tennis, yes. And then we got MMA coming up this weekend too. DC, I know Joey Work killing it as well. So we've got a lot going on here. RunPureSports.com. Check out the bet side. You can add that for $20. As a matter of fact, I got to get to the bet side right now and put in my Joey Work bets. Get my money going on here. That's wonderful. Next game, this is a juicy one. DC Dodgers visiting Cincinnati. I think that there's going to be a lot of people targeting Luke Weaver. Good idea or not?
Yeah, a great idea to target Luke Weaver always, especially in Cincinnati, which big park upgrade for the Dodgers here. Kind of like the Diamondbacks, right? These West Coast teams, they get to go to some of these smaller ballparks out east, and Cincinnati, as good as they come for home runs. That'll be true today. 85 degrees, wind blowing out to center field. Luke Weaver not really able to miss bats. I mean, you're going to see loud contact here from the Dodgers, right? Like it's hard to predict if they're going to get it over the fence or not, or caught at the warning track. But guys like Freeman, Muncy, Will Smith, like probably going to square up Luke Weaver, to be honest. And in that ballpark, you don't even have to get all of it to get it over the fence. So yeah, these Dodgers are expensive. They're going to be chalky, but this is a pretty awesome spot for them. Mookie Betts been on fire as well. I don't often play him for whatever reason at 6K, but he's been great lately. And JD Martinez, I mean, yeah, you can make a case for pretty much everybody in this Dodgers lineup. I think, yeah, if you're on the Dodgers, if you can make them fit with expensive pitchers, which is tough, I think they're a great option tonight.
All right, so besides for Dela Cruz, any Reds guys? We want to swing it back, maybe a little game stack or no?
I do really like this Reds lineup now that they've called up the studs. I don't think in this spot, but man, moving forward.
They still got Encarnacion Strand, their power hitting first baseman that'll be up soon. It's going to be a really, really fun lineup for this Reds very, very shortly.
Well, that's good because Kevin Newman is playing first base, and we need to get his ass out of there.
Yeah.
We need to get his ass out, bring up the Strand, and just play Reds the rest of the summer in that ballpark.
Sounds good to me.
But I agree on Dodgers. I think what's cool about both the Dodgers and the Braves, who I think we're going to talk about next, is the back half of the lineup is like cheap enough that it makes them super easy to stack. So yeah, I love the Dodgers. I have them in my core. Will Smith, super expensive, but has great numbers here at Great American Ballpark. Him and Freeman are my priority spends for the Dodgers.
Guys, I'm not looking at the YouTube. You tell me where the likes are. I know we got about 400 watching right now. By the end of the show, we'll have about 1,000 views here. That's good. It would be nice to get to 200 likes today, is all I'm saying. Just hit the button. That'd be wonderful. Josh wants Steve to have a new job. He gets it. He loves it. He loves it.
I'll send him my resume.
Yeah. Okay. We keep moving along, boys. We move from the Dodgers and the Reds to the Mets at the Braves, DC. I think you mentioned some bats on both sides tonight. Would that be correct? A little bit against Elder and a lot of Braves against Carrasco. Yes?
Yes, we've seen this total for both teams climbing all day, which I think is appropriate, frankly. Braves do have the highest team total on the day, almost up to 6. It was like 5.5 to open, sitting around 5.9 now. Wouldn't be surprised if it closed at 6 or even higher. The best hitting weather in Atlanta that we've seen all season long so far, 85 degrees, wind blowing out, 42% humidity. Ball is going to be absolutely jumping in Atlanta tonight, which is a good sign for, both these teams have players with a ton of power. And I mentioned Elder. I'm not a believer. I think the Mets are one of the best sneaky stacks tonight. People won't want to use them against Bryce Elder. I get it. I want to be on the train when the Bryce Elder regression happens. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Unless I'm just totally wrong about this guy. Honestly, reminds me a little bit about Clark Schmidt, but the reverse, right? Like sometimes you just know, like this guy, like Clark Schmidt, like this guy has it. It's going to happen, and you don't want to jump off too early. Same thing with Bryce Elder. Like it's coming for him, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Mets got to him tonight. So I do like the Mets quite a bit, but Braves are my favorite stack of the night. Carlos Carrasco. He's looked a little bit better since coming back from the IL, but I just don't think he's got it anymore, Steve. I really don't on Carlos Carrasco. I think it's going to be kind of like an Alek Manoah performance where he's just going to struggle, right? He's just going to be behind every hitter. He's not going to be able to throw his fastball. Like that's how you can get the Braves out, right? If you can get a fastball by some of these guys, you can have some success. Carrasco just doesn't have it, and I don't think they're going to chase his off-speed pitches. I feel like they're going to be up 2-1, 3-1 counts and just swinging for the fences, and you don't got to get it all when the weather is like this against Carrasco. So I think the Braves are going to nuke here. You can also run on Carrasco. Ronald Acuna obviously running on everybody. He will absolutely run on Carrasco if he gets a chance. Michael Harris owes me like a 1 month's mortgage check at this point, but I'm just going to stick with him.
Dude, me too.
Yeah, pretty much the entire Braves offense is good to me.
You're really going to go to Michael Harris? Like at what point in time can we jump ship, or you're just going to be stubborn and keep playing him?
I just want them to send them down, so I stopped clicking them.
Everybody gets to make their own lineup. That's one of the beauties of DFS, but I'm still playing them.
Yeah. What do you want to do with the Braves and the Mets, Steve?
Yeah, gotta love the Braves here. Awesome spot. Been fading Carrasco the whole season. I think this might be the first matchup between these two teams this year. It feels like it, at least in Atlanta. So pretty big series. I think the Braves have been looking forward to beating up on the Mets, and I think they do that in this series starting tonight. I like the lineup. Like I said with the Dodgers, the back half is cheap, 5 through 9, all affordable bats that you can mix in with the 4 studs up top. It just works perfectly. It's why the Braves and the Dodgers are just so easy to stack as a 5-man. Elder kind of reminds me of like a younger Kyle Hendricks, just like a ground ball guy who doesn't have great stuff, but is like super frustrating to stack against because he gets so many ground balls. But I think he will have his blow-up starts. I don't love the Mets in general, but they have been hitting better of late. So the lineup's weird. They're playing Narvaez. I don't know. Definitely on the Mets, definitely on the Braves, don't love the Mets, but I do get it.
Yeah, Eddie Rosario is just going bananas. 3 home runs his last 3 games. I think he had a double dong night and then one where he had 1. So Rosario's having a nice little run of it here. We'll see if we can keep the hot streak going there. And we'll move on to Baltimore and Milwaukee. So we got Peralta against Gibson. Steve, I'll go to you first, Mr. Orioles fan over there. Any reason to go to the O's in Milwaukee?
Yeah, this is a spot that I think I would be really on a smaller slate, or like a slate where I didn't love other spots. We've kind of been picking on Freddie Peralta the last couple starts. He has not looked dialed in. And it's, it showed that the results have been bad. It's just like without Aaron Hicks hitting fifth in a lineup always just gives me pause. Without going from Seti Mullins to Aaron Hicks is just like such a steep drop off. Yeah, I mean, the weather's nice here in Chicago. I'm sure it's nice up north. Just a team that I didn't get to today. I could see the O's going off, though. The Brewers' bullpen has not been good either. Kind of one of the big surprises of the season, a bullpen that's been awesome for a couple of years now. Their closer is obviously dominant in Devin Williams, but you got to get to him. So if I was playing anyone here, it would be the O's. I didn't get there myself. And that Brewers lineup is just absolutely pathetic.
That's bad.
They got John Singleton. I thought John Singleton was in Korea or something.
So Gibson can't get us there tonight with John Singleton hitting second. Gibson can't get us there.
I know that a couple guys on the site do like Gibson. He didn't make my pool because I like to condense my pool as much as possible. So,
all right, DC, talk to me here. Baltimore at Milwaukee.
Yeah, pretty much game I'm just kind of scratching off, to be honest. It would be the Orioles side that I'd be more likely to go to, but I think there are plenty of better spots. So I will be brief for once and pass on this game.
Okay. Maybe it's just that Gibson doesn't have enough strikeouts. Is that what it is at this point? Question from Don Play. Do I take the Giants Rockies under 11? Please help you guys know. He spelled you like you, Darvish. Good luck betting unders at Coors Field. To me, it's over or nothing. In all seriousness, like I don't have a lean on this game, but I rarely, if ever, am going to bet.
If you ever want to torture yourself, bet an under in Coors Field and then go to the game and watch it. And,
oh my God, that's awful! Holy shit.
I have touched the stove plenty of times with Coors unders, so I will never recommend it to another person.
Yeah,
I will recommend.
You're feeling good at like inning 5, and then like 8
there's like a 7-run bottom of the 6th.
Well, I actually want to get to that, and then we'll get back to St. Louis, Texas, because my Rangers, they're my Rangers now. My Rangers are just rolling. But all right, DC. So we do have Dinelson Lamet, who you're going to back up and say, yeah, he's a lot of ground balls, whatever. He sucks. And then there's Manaea and Brebbia on the other side. Can you sell me on either one of these offenses this evening?
Yeah, man, it's Coors Field. Finally, some decent weather here in Denver. Maybe not where you are, but I think
it's hailing right now.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine for this game. Lamet, kind of for me at least, jury's kind of out on him. I actually wouldn't be surprised to play him next time he's out of Coors Field, but yeah, I can't get on board here. Giants do have the highest team total on the slate. Of course, you can go there if you want to. I think this will be one of those, Steve, where I just, give me the Braves over the Giants. But, yeah, absolutely. Of course, the Giants could go off. Same thing for the Rockies. I'm not a believer in Brebbia or Manaea. Perhaps I'll head down to the field and recreate my famous photo with Mr. Sean Manaea at One Up. Have you been there, Holden? One Up next to Coors Field?
I have been to One Up. Yes, I went in and then I left immediately.
Yeah, Sean Manaea had 2 very beautiful ladies with him that night. But I don't know. Maybe he's looking to recreate the night. He'll be less focused in these Braves.
Did you ask him for a photo or just like stand there and take a photo with him? What'd you do?
No. I went up. I asked him for a photo. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he did it. You got it. Did you get the girls in the photo?
No. They ran when I approached.
That's unfortunate. Should have just said you're a billionaire.
I'm used to it by now.
Yeah. Sometimes you get used to stuff like that.
Boynton, Coors Field, my dude. I mean, the offense is always in play. By the way, just because I'm like 40 minutes south of Denver. It's beautiful in Denver right now. Apparently it's in the mid 70s, so don't worry about it. We get crazy ass weather. I'm like 1,500 feet higher than Denver, so it's weird down here. But anyways, Steve, Coors Field game. You gonna sprinkle a little in or no?
Yes, I rarely play Coors. I think it's an interesting spot. I don't know. Like I don't like playing the Giants anyways. And when they're going to be owned in Coors against a pitcher that I do like, I just like the spots for the Dodgers and the Braves more here. The way I'm kind of looking at it is I'm hoping that Coors pulls away ownership from spots that I think are better. So I'm not prioritizing Coors personally on the slate. I do have that Lamet K-prop bet, so that is what I'll be rooting on in this Coors game personally.
I'm going back to Keller over 6.5 and over 7.5, dude.
What's the K-prop on Lamet, Steve?
4.5. 4.5.
I like the under.
That's not going to be – you're not going to watch that game, are you, Steve? Like, that's just one you make the bet. Oh, no. You don't watch that? What a Denelson Lamet over prop, and he's going to watch
as long as he doesn't throw 40 pitches in the first inning again.
Oh, my God, dude. You know that's completely possible, right? Like,
you guys are on so lucky, Steve. If you want more action, slide on into the book of DC.
Yeah, why do you want like you really think that's gonna win, or is it just something where like I want to be right, so I'll bet the over on Lamet?
I think it's gonna win.
All right, very good, Steve.
It's not like my highest confident bet of all time.
I hope not.
I knew I wasn't playing him in DFS, but I can't abandon my guy Lamet after one start.
All right, let's get to Texas and St. Louis. Just bet Texas money line, bet them on the run line, and let's see if it works out tonight. Dane Dunning, Matthew Liberatore is the pitching matchup. DC. I mean, this Texas offense, we talk about it every time we work together. They're absolutely spectacular. They're number one in WOBA the last 30 days. They're third in WOBA against lefties, fifth against righties. I mean, they just mash everybody. So talk to me. How much Texas are you going to have? It's not if you're going to have Texas. How much Texas?
Yeah, I'll have some Texas. I mean, it's hard to go against this team at this point. They seem to produce every night. I don't know what you guys feel. Like, I get attracted in DFS to a team that runs the same damn top five out there every night, right? Semien, Seager, Lowe, Garcia, Josh Jung, and then not in there tonight, Jonah Heim, but getting a rare day off. But, like, the Braves kind of do that, right? Where they're just like, hey, here are our guys. You know, we're going to play pretty much the same lineup every day, and we know we could beat it, and we'll put our lineup out there before anybody else. And I don't know. I feel like the Mets, just like, you know, guys like they're young studs. They just keep them out of the lineup half the time. I don't know. I do like these teams that have the confidence to just roll out the same lineup. Texas is one of those teams. They're rolling right now. And I do think hitting is contagious. I believe in that. So absolutely, you can play Texas. I actually do like Matthew Liberatore as a pitcher a little bit, but I don't like the spot for him whatsoever. So, yeah, I'm in on Texas. I do think you can play the Cardinals too. Dane Dunning reminds me a little bit, frankly, of Bryce Elder, running hot so far through a third of the season. I'm not a believer long-term in him. You'll get the Cardinals very, very low owned if you want to go that direction.
All right. You want to play a little Rangers tonight, Steve, or are you boycotting them?
I was between the Yankees and the Rangers for my fifth team, and I went the Yankees just because of the pricing. Okay. Because the Rangers have been so hot, the prices have started to climb up there, and I did want some double spend builds. So, I mean, the Rangers, red hot. DC, it does help when the top two guys are making a combined $600 million. You just don't take them out of the lineup.
Yeah, earning every dollar. Good job, Sammy.
Yeah, right. They did get Mitch Garver back, which is also huge. You know, like last night they played both Heim and Garver. Kind of reminds me of their good teams in like the 2008 to 2012. You know, like the lineups just stacked 1 through 9 with young guys in the bottom of the order that have speed. That's exactly what this is. Zeke Duran has been really, really good. have they changed his eligibility yet? Because he's not playing shortstop anymore. If not, that'll be coming soon. So keep an eye on that. You won't have to decide between Seager and Duran for long.
He's just shortstop on DK.
Okay, that'll change soon.
Don't hold your breath on the position eligibility. I'll say that much.
I mean, there are so many guys that have dual position on DK that don't play two positions. He hasn't played shortstop in a month, and they haven't changed it yet. Tavares has had a really good season. They've been kind of waiting for him to do this for a couple of years now. He was a top prospect a few years ago. Yeah, it's an awesome lineup. Liberatore hasn't really shown it yet. The Cardinals are a team to attack. So yeah, it was a tough cut for me. The Rangers are obviously in a good spot. Roof closed isn't great, but that hasn't really mattered for this lineup all season.
Okay. We got 2 games left. So let me just plug the code one more time. Hit the like button if you get a chance. Summer 33% off. It's not just monthly or yearly packages, monthly or weekly packages. So if you haven't checked this out yet, just check us out. 33% off on a weekly. And I think you're going to want to stay around after that. It's not just the great content we have. We've got a really cool community. DC making snide remarks to everybody in there, seemed to like it. Boynton just bringing his knowledge. So listen, they're all in there. AP's in the chat right now, answering questions. I think Stevers is in there. Get a chance to talk to Big T, JSU. All the big guns are in there. So again, winners, community, everything you need. Summer 33% off first payment. 2 games left. The only team without a lineup out is the Angels. We know who we could play: Trout, Ohtani, etc. Going up against Hayden Wesneski. Tyler Anderson going to go up against the Cubs tonight. Boynton, you're in Chicago. Not that it really matters, but is this just a pass here?
Yeah. Cool weather on the West Coast in comparison to everywhere besides Cleveland. Cubs have been scuffling a bit lately. Morel was kind of carrying them for a while. He's cooled off. I do like that they called up the other young guys as well, Matt Mervis and Miguel Amaya, the catcher. So interesting lineup. Tyler Anderson's underlying stats are just awful. He's got the worst xFIP on the slate on the season, 6.06. Just not missing any bats, walking a ton of guys. So the Cubs are interesting here. I just wish that they had done something recently, and like the weather's not great. I ended up Xing them because I don't like to spread myself too thin, but I do get the Cubs side. And then I didn't dig in much on the Angels. DC maybe have some notes on Wesneski, but it seems like kind of a quasi bullpen game. Don't really want to attack that personally.
What do you think, DC?
Yeah, the Cubs are the team that I don't actually have any, but I could see them blowing up here.
Yeah.
It's just been so long since the Cubs went off. It just feels like dumping money down the drain playing them at this point. But like on paper, right? If you're like running, running a simulation, the Cubs would look awesome here, no doubt about it. So I get playing the Cubs. Wouldn't be surprised if they're on the winner. Didn't get there myself. Angels, I think it's Ohtani that you really want here. You can definitely stack against Wesneski. I mean, he's gotten blown up like feels like 30% of his starts are this year or something like that. So, yeah, given the weather on some of the East Coast games and Coors Field, it was kind of hard to get to a 60-degree day in Los Angeles. But I do like the matchups, hitter versus pitcher for both these offenses. I just didn't end up getting there myself. Kind of with Steve there, I guess.
All right. We got our last game to get to before we give the plays of the day. Last chance. Go give us the like button. Come on. You're getting some great information today. Seattle at San Diego is the final game of the night. And, come on, guys. Really, are we going out there, Musgrove and Gilbert? Anything here, DC?
This game, probably the biggest cross-off game of the night, other than I think both pitchers are reasonable plays. Neither of the guy made my – the top of my list, but both certainly in play. given this slate, I can't really imagine playing a hitter in this game, honestly.
Okay. What do you got, Steve? Last game of the night.
Exact same thoughts. Love both of these pitchers here. I hope Gilbert bounces back nicely.
Okay. Well, time now to get to the plays of the day then, boys. I don't know who's calling De La Cruz, but one of you should have him at least at 2K, I would think, right? DC. Let's do. Hold on, let me get the banners. I got to find the one where they put the fat person on you, and then they just put your face there. I really like. Here it is. Mom's basement bad internet play of the day.
No, that's not.
That's there. Hold on. Who is this yours?
I think that's mine.
Or is this yours? Whose is that?
I think that's mine.
I've never seen that before. DC, have you seen this before? No.
There it is.
Would you stop touching? But guys, leave the fucking buttons alone. Whose is this? I'm giving it to Boynton. Boynton, you go first. Both your internets suck, but Boynton, what do you got? What's your play of the day?
I will go to a guy that we talked about earlier in Pittsburgh, Captain Jack Sawinski.
12-game slate. You stole my guy, Steve. That's
if they just would have put bad internet on there, DC would have had him. Can I do?
I'll go to a different pirate then.
No. You go ahead.
It's all right. He's got more up his sleeve. He's not just a one-trick pony. All right, let's get to play. What is the play, DC?
Well, Steve's got Jack Sawinski. He was going to elaborate, but you cut him off as usual.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
I'll go to, you know what? I'm not going to take the LA De La Cruz free square.
Don't you take Palacios?
Mr. Ronald Acuna. No match, Carlos Carrasco for Ronald Acuna. He'll go yard or get on first base, first at bat, steal second if he does, and he'll be off to the races. Always under-owned, Ronald Acuna, because people don't want to pay that 6.4K price tag. Pay up tonight. He's putting up 20+ for us on DK.
All right. I did not know.
Jose Palacios.
Look at this. Edibles play of the day. We definitely got to go to my boy Palacios, right? What are you laughing at? Did I cut him off too?
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah, you should. Let's go Palacios, and then we'll be done with the show. It's wonderful seeing you all here. Just wonderful. Don't shake your head, DC. You've got a long season to go. Just take a deep breath, and things will move a lot faster. Liliana did want to share something with us, though. Full disclosure, I'm high as balls, so take my opinion with a grain of salt. Did you give any opinion? Yes, she did. Here's her opinion. I don't know what it is. Always love to see too. No disrespect, Steve, but oh boy, Liliana, you are high as shit because Steve is the best. Steve is much better than the two of us. No question about it. All right, DC, good job today. Boynton, good job today. Great to see you both. You're welcome. Summer.
I'm always looking for your approval. It's really the number one thing.
That's why I say it. Summer 33% on your first payment, weekly or monthly plan.